What happens when your biggest rival walks into your city and your fans sing his diss track louder than ever? That's exactly what Kendrick Lamar did in Toronto, Drake's home turf, performing Not Like Us in front of a sold-out crowd. No apology, no hesitation. And the wildest part? The city didn't push back. They embraced it. It wasn't just a concert, it was control, and everyone watching could feel the shift. Kendrick Lamar just did what most rappers wouldn't even dream of. He walked into Toronto, Drake's own backyard, and performed Not Like Us in front of a sold-out stadium. No announcement, no hesitation, just full control and a beat that hit like a warning shot. And the wildest part? The crowd didn't resist. They shouted every word, loud, proud, a diss track aimed at their city's biggest name. And they didn't just accept it, they embraced it. That wasn't confidence, that was history. Kendrick didn't flex, he didn't taunt, he simply took the stage like it already belonged to him. And while the fans leaned in, the man at the center of it all, Drake, stayed silent. No message, no reaction, not even a subtle move online. Because when the city that made you starts clapping for the other guy, you're no longer in control of the narrative. You'd expect Toronto to hold the line. This is Drake's city, the foundation of his story, the place that shaped his sound. But when Kendrick dropped Not Like Us, the reaction wasn't protective. It was explosive. There was no hesitation. The crowd roared from the first bar, shouting every lyric like it was theirs. People weren't caught off guard. They were ready. One clip showed a section of the arena literally bouncing in sync, fists in the air, faces lit up like they were witnessing a moment they'd never forget. Online, it caught fire. Local fans were tweeting things like, "I just lost my voice to a diss track aimed at my own city, and I'm not mad about it." That's not hype. That's confusion turning into acceptance. And when loyalty fades that fast, it's not just a shift, it's a signal. And Drake? Still nothing. If you're feeling this moment like we are, hit that subscribe button, because what comes next changes everything. Kendrick never threw a single jab on the mic that night. He didn't say Drake's name. He didn't need to. That silence wasn't passive, it was precision. From the moment Euphoria rang out, he set the tone. Then came DNA. Then the final blow, Not Like Us. And through it all, Kendrick kept it focused. No antics, no direct shots, just a performance so calculated, it felt like a message wrapped in discipline. In a city that's been molded by Drake's influence, Kendrick didn't chase applause, he earned control. Fans knew exactly who those songs were aimed at, and Kendrick trusted them to fill in the blanks. And they did. Every cheer, every chant, every phone in the air was proof. He didn't have to say it out loud. Toronto already knew. The message wasn't written in lyrics, it was written in how loud the crowd got without a single name drop. He didn't point to the CN Tower. He didn't have to. It was right there, standing tall behind him, bold and unmoved, like it had been waiting for this moment. That tower isn't just part of Toronto's skyline. It's part of Drake's legacy. It's been on his album covers, his merch, his brand, and now it was the backdrop to Kendrick's loudest moment in the city. No shout out, no flex, just presence. Kendrick stood on that stage with the entire weight of the city behind him, physically and symbolically, and he didn't blink. The crowd wasn't confused. They weren't torn. They were in sync with every word. It didn't feel like a takeover. It felt like a handover. Kendrick didn't force the moment. He let it settle. And somehow, in front of Drake's own monument, it wasn't Drake who felt iconic. It was Kendrick. Drake's response, nothing, no tweet, no lyric, no clever Instagram caption. And for someone who built a career on quick comebacks, that silence felt louder than any verse. Fans waited, the media waited, but nothing came. And when the stadium cleared out and the clips started circulating, the silence got heavier. Sources close to Drake's camp say conversations are happening behind the scenes, some urging him to strike back, others telling him to wait it out. But time isn't neutral in hip-hop. Every hour without a reply gives Kendrick more ground. The same city that once crowned Drake just gave a standing ovation to the man who challenged him. And Drake, he stayed invisible. Not physically, not digitally, just absent in every way that mattered. Because when your silence starts echoing louder than your catalog, you're not managing a moment, you're losing it. The crowd saw what happened, but so did the industry. This wasn't just another stop on Kendrick's tour, it was a signal. Artists, producers, and label execs were watching that Toronto moment like it was a chess move. And suddenly, the board looked different. People who once played neutral started showing their hand, posting clips, reacting with flame emojis, resharing the performance like it was gospel. Sources say even some, behind closed doors at major labels, called it a shift in power. Kendrick didn't ask for allies. He earned them, quietly, strategically. And with Drake staying silent, it wasn't hard to see which way the momentum was leaning. Because in this game, it's not just about music, it's about control, energy, alignment. And right now, Kendrick isn't just commanding crowds. He's flipping rooms full of people who once never picked a side. The crowd didn't just show up, they showed intent. From the first note of Euphoria, the energy in the building was undeniable. People weren't warming up, they were already on fire. But when Not Like Us dropped, the entire arena shifted. It wasn't hype, it was release. Fans jumped, screamed, threw up their phones like they were waving flags. Some chanted so loud the lyrics vanished under the noise. One section of the floor moved like a wave, bodies in sync, caught in the same rhythm. And the wildest part? There was no hesitation, no mixed reaction, just a stadium full of people feeding Kendrick more energy than most artists get in their own cities. One Toronto reporter called it a crowd that didn't just break the sound barrier, it bent the rules of loyalty. Because in that moment, it didn't matter whose city it was. Kendrick owned it. Kendrick's setlist wasn't just impressive, it was calculated. He didn't roll out random hits to play it safe. He built a structure. He opened with Euphoria, igniting tension, followed with DNA to flex raw power. Then with perfect timing, he landed Not Like Us as the closer. That final track didn't feel like a song, it felt like a verdict. Sources say fans were holding their breath, unsure if he'd actually do it. And when he did, the place erupted like it had been holding that reaction the whole night. People didn't just respond, they transformed. What started as a performance ended like a declaration. This wasn't a rap show, it was a moment being carved into memory. One fan walking out was overheard saying, "I came for music, but I think I just watched a statement." And they were right. Kendrick made sure every beat meant something. Toronto didn't push back, it leaned in. The city that built Drake backed him and lifted him to global status, embraced Kendrick like he was one of their own. From vendors outside selling Kendrick merch to locals blasting Not Like Us on the way to the venue, the atmosphere didn't feel tense, it felt flipped. The energy around the Rogers Center wasn't cautious, it was celebratory. People weren't debating loyalty, they were moving on instinct. For one night, Kendrick wasn't the guest, he was the center, and that says something bigger than hype or headlines. It says the audience is shifting, not just online, but in real time, in real places. Kendrick didn't campaign for Toronto's approval. He earned it by walking into the heart of someone else's stronghold and turning it into neutral ground. And once a crowd cheers you in the other guy's city, something's changed. This wasn't noise, it was control. Kendrick didn't storm into Toronto looking for conflict. He walked in like he already knew how it would end. No stunts, no distractions, just precision. Every track had weight, every pause felt intentional, and by the end, there was no debate. He didn't steal the spotlight, he became it. The crowd wasn't reacting with shock, they were responding with clarity. They stood, they shouted, they filmed it like they were witnessing a shift they'd talk about for years. And Drake, he was nowhere in that moment. Not on stage, not online, not in the energy. When an artist can come into your city, perform a song aimed at you, and leave with the crowd on his side, that's not beef, that's a reset. And Kendrick didn't just win that night, he walked away holding something far more valuable, momentum the other side couldn't stop. If you're feeling that shift too, hit that subscribe button, because hip-hop's changing, and we're breaking down every move, one moment at a time.